Evidence of these attacks litters the assembly bays.
Just look at that. That's absolutely amazing. That must have been where one of the 2 grand slams that was hit the roof and penetrated through, struck. And look at all the debris around. And oh my goodness, what's this? This must be the last remains of the Grand Slam. This is a 10-ton bomb. This is the biggest thing the RAF can carry. Designed by Barnes Wallis, who of course designed the bouncing bomb. And look at the thickness of it. Oh, that's heavy. That's just a fraction of it. I mean, I can barely lift that up. This is called an earthquake bomb. The idea is that the weight of it, the force of it, hits the roof, penetrates through a huge amount, and then there's a delayed fuse, and then it explodes. So it goes through about 10 of the 15 feet of the thickness of that roof, then explodes, and that's what does for it. That's what causes this. And with the 2 bombs, there's 1,000 tons of concrete comes down. And really, for the Valentin assembly plant, that's it.
Dönitz's ultimate U-boat factory is finished before it even begins production. It's a devastating setback. The 3 remaining assembly yards are now under increased pressure to get Type 21s off the production line. Between June 1944 and April 1945,
so how many do you have to win in order to go up a level?
Type 21s are delivered in full working order. But due to lengthy crew training, only 2 go into active service.
So I'm 15, I've got 3 stars, and then I just got another star.
After 2 months getting to know his new vessel,
Well, there's 2 star spaces and one of them's full.
Submarine.
So I got 1 fresh star and it looks like a space for 1 more star. And it's level
On the
15.
30th of April 1945,
Yep.
Schnee guides his craft silently out of a Norwegian fjord, heading for the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, it goes
He's back in
down.
control, seeking out enemy shipping.
Oh.
But back in Germany, the war has finally caught up with Dönitz and his submarine fleet.
Okay.
The Red Army has sacked Berlin, and Hitler is dead. On the 4th
Oh, I
of May
see.
1945, Dönitz makes a radio broadcast to his U-boats.
U-Bootsmänner, man of the U-boat force.
Hmm.
After a heroic fight which knows no comparison in history, you have put down your
Okay.
weapons. You have achieved things which are unheard of. The greatest sacrifice for your fatherland you are yet to make.
Well, I never knew what it was. I
No shadow will be
started
cast
at
on your
18 and then saw 15, so...
Fatherland will be spared the worst consequences.
So are you retired now, or do you still
It's
work?
from the HMS Norfolk.
Mm-hmm.
Cruiser ahead. There's an escort of destroyers. We'll go under the escort.
What kind of work is it you do? Is something with the...
Periscope depth.
Okay,
Good.
that's good.
Schnee lines up the Norfolk in the crosshairs of the periscope.
I can see them. They're only 600 meters away.
Submerged and silent, the U-2511 is almost invisible.
Really? Because it runs slow.
It's
It seems to be like running slow.
But the ceasefire
How do you get-
has been called.
How do you get rid of that? Because I don't use it other than to play warships. Like I log in, boot Windows, and then I start warships, and that's it. I don't go on the web or
The
anything.
war's over. Bring the boats up. We're going back home.
Yeah.
In Germany, Dönitz gives orders
Yeah, I
to
heard
scrap
that
any outdated Type 21s
if you had a
to prevent them
PC
falling into
at
enemy
certain
hands.
certain windows, you would let them run, and it would
84
actually
destroyed,
stop after a month or two,
but it's not
just
enough.
on its own without doing
The
anything.
Allies get their hands on the Type 21.
Like it would
It becomes the
eventually
model for the
crash.
world's first nuclear-powered sub, the USS Nautilus.
In this regard, was certainly one of the most successful and influential designs of a German weapon technology in the Second World War.
Yeah. Which I'm like, wow, that's
The Nazis had created
interesting.
the most advanced underwater superweapon in history. But it arrived too late to save Germany.
Yeah.
And never even fired a single torpedo at the enemy.
If the Type 21
Okay, so I'm just putting the flags. Did you win your battle there?
It's difficult to imagine how the Allies could have maintained convoys across the Atlantic.
And you don't get many exchange credits. I guess you just get experience, right?
But the Type 21 entered the war just
From these
too late
battles.
to make a difference.
I didn't get a lot of exchange credits,
Post-war, Admiral Dönitz served a
from the
10-year
battle.
prison sentence.
like
After his release, he
yeah,
wrote his memoirs,
like the things you can
then
buy
sank
stuff
into
with.
relative obscurity.
Yeah,
Captain Schnee served 6 months in a minesweeper unit before reinventing himself as a salesman.
because the last random ones I played, I got 300,000 every time. 200,000, 300,000, because I sunk like 1 or 2 ships. So, what part of Montana do you live in? Okay. I got friends up in Cranbrook that I gotta go see at some point. That's where I was born and raised, in the East Kootenays. Hmm. Oh? Huh. Hmm. Do you ever build any computers to do computer animation? Yep. Because in the 90s, I had a computer graphics company, and at the time, I think I spent $10,000 on a motherboard, and it had. No, this one was it was a PC, but it had, at that time, it had twin processors or something like that, and it also had a really jazzy video card, but it was super fast. This was like in '94. Yeah, and lots of RAM and sweet machine, but yeah, it was really fast. And here in Vancouver, they're saying that there's a lot of demand for computer graphics and animation stuff for motion picture and television stuff. So they use a program called Maya and some other software, and they run on some of them on the Windows system, some on the Mac. But I'd like to get back into that, even just as a hobby. And I think I would need to get a beefcake. If they're going to run with a PC, I'd have to get a powerful PC in order to work on the stuff and then render it, so it get a good look at it quickly. Be curious to see what software they need and what hardware is available. Mm-hmm. Oh, like from a game? Okay. And that's at your place? Oh, cool. Wow. You're a little ways out of town. It's cool. That's right on. Yeah. Do you have any animals or anything? Yeah. Family. Led Zeppelin. Let's have a look here. That's great. And that's what you've downloaded? Wow. Okay. Game of Thrones is pretty good. Yeah, and The Wire, that's another good one. Wow. That's a great interface. Yeah, that's cool. Yep. Yep. Hmm. That's that's great. All right. That is pretty cool. Hmm. Do you have the Battlestar Galactica, the new one? Yeah, I got it on Blu-ray here, and that was pretty cool. Yeah. Well, the first episode is basically the bridge from the old Galactica to the new, and it's really worthwhile checking out. Really? Well, I just watch it and then I delete it because if I ever go across the border and the border guards they all look and snoop on stuff and they could say, "Oh, you're transporting illegal material or whatever." Well, sometimes I go when I'm working, I get a contract and I work. I relocated down to Louisiana and I relocated to Florida. And sometimes I might just have the stuff, like have my laptop in my truck, and I cross the border to see my attorney or come back. And every time I do that, they just grab my phone, and now I get so that when I'm crossing the border, I just leave everything at home and say, "Oh, there's nothing there." So I watch a movie and I delete it, and if I want to watch it, I download it again. Because I'd hate to be caught for these guys saying, "Oh yeah, you got to." It's different if you're U.S. citizen, but when you're coming in, oh man, they're gonna check your colon. Oh yeah. Well, I've been detained at the border a couple of times and turned back by some of these guys. So for whatever reason, because it was a Canadian and I was going working down there, they asked me to return because the guard said that I was intending to become an illegal alien and mooch off the medical system. So therefore, I was denied entry for a year. And I was like, really? And I was going to see my girlfriend in Blaine, and yeah, it was pretty bad. So I got my attorney back on it and had to do it, and I did a Freedom of Information search. It was 180 pages legal size, and they redacted it all, and they never found anything. And I had to have all my current bank statements and my all my assets and my vehicles and current bank records and all that stuff current to the last week before I would be allowed to go across the border. It was totally nuts. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, well they get a big hard on here. They're trying to weaponize everything, and it's just ridiculous. Doesn't mean that life's any better. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, these, like, I'm 53, and it's just like these guys are just punks. And I heard through my attorney that the guys in the back, they've got a scorecard of how many guys they turn away, or like catch all the bad guys, and they have scores. They high five each other when they get this. And they don't even have to make anything, like, doesn't have to have evidence. They can just allege things. So since then, I don't say anything, and I just get right through. So bizarre. Yeah, you got a lot of really nice stuff there. I like that Shawshank Redemption. The Shawshank. I know I do have some of that. I was thinking of, I've got some GoPro footage from my motorcycle trips, and it takes up a lot of space, but I'd like to edit it into some sequences. And what's it called? It's Flex? Okay, I'll have a look at that.